Welcome to Somerset. I've come here to look at one of this rather splendid terrace of miners' cottages. I've gathered from OS maps that it was probably built in 1902, 1903. That's my house, one with a sailboard outside it. Interestingly, you assume that you associate mining with the north of England, South Wales, but there was a large and thriving coal mining industry in Somerset once upon a time. This is a picture of the Kilmersdon colliery, and I was surprised to discover this colliery they were still extracting coal anyway from here as late as 1973. There's another picture, and what I also established looking at old maps etc. is this colliery is about 200 metres away from the house I am about to look at. Do I need to worry about tunnels from the mine shaft extending underneath this house? Well, it's worth bearing in mind, that's all, I think.
That chimney pot up there is on the party wall, and it's got 8 flues running through it. It's also got a jack door sitting in one of the chimney pots, so that's a clue it probably needs sweeping. Likely to have been stuffed with twigs by now. There's 2 jack doors up there now. Simple pitched roof with clay double Roman tiles. I'll wait till this car goes by. And 450mm solid stone walls built with what's probably a local white lath. I'll wait till this car goes by. Probably not as white as it used to be. Anyway, it's in tip-top structural condition, but it requires modernisation. I believe it's got a damp-proof course. I think what we're looking at here, that I think is the damp-proof course. I reckon they've mixed a load of bitumen into the mortar joint, or mix it into the mortar and use that as a damp-proof course. Over there is the one and only air brick providing subfloor ventilation. Perhaps it's providing too much subfloor ventilation, so they put a pile of junk in it to block it off. What do you call the stonework around the window? Is fenestration the right word? They would have used a different kind of shelly limestone here. You can get a glimpse of it down there, but it's painted, unfortunately, and this paint finish is blistering rather badly, so the house might look a bit nicer if that gets stripped off. And the only sign of what might be structural movement is that little crack through the lintel over the front door, but it's not in quite the right place, is it? Just right down the side of that keystone there would suggest maybe it's just the paint or render finish that's cracked and not the lintel at all. And a potentially unsightly repair there. Well, it is unsightly, but a potentially damaging repair if that's been done with cement, because any moisture that does get inside the wall will be trapped in there by that, and that will accelerate the deterioration of the surrounding stone. So ideally that could be knocked out. Only if somebody's prepared to spend lots of money on this house, they could refit a piece of natural stone in there. And here's the back of the house, where there's a few little defects. Nothing of significance, a bit of lost mortar, a lack of a flashing to that roof out the back. You can see the house next door's got a lead flashing there, but there's none there. But that cement seems to be in fairly good condition for the time being. The main problem's probably going to be at the back of the house here, where somebody's put this cement screed in and sloped it all the way up to the back of the house, and that is at or above the level of the damp-proof course. So there'll almost certainly be some dampness internally. This is the inside of the front elevation. Now, bearing in mind it does have a damp-proof course of sorts, I think it does. Slightly inconclusive evidence. Well, one would hope that it's not damp. But let's go and see what happens. Here we are then, about a metre up the wall, nothing going on. So you come down a bit, still nothing happening. Down a bit further, we still seem to be in the clear. And down there, still, ooh, it's getting a bit excited, isn't it? And there as well. So, this is not very thorough or conclusive.
But there seems to be a bit of moisture in the wall, doesn't there? And if we look at the skirting board down there, that's got a bit of a crinkle in it, which suggests that there's some rot migrating through the skirting board from the side that's attached to the wall, which then introduces a possibility that the floor underneath might be a little bit decayed too. Here we've definitely got a little bit of a problem with dampness. You can see the skirting board's crinkly and there's plenty of wood filler in there, and filler up there, and yeah, that's damp, isn't it? A very, very rotten piece of skirting board. This is the back room, rear room, dining room, I don't know. It has a concrete floor. It's only the front room that has a suspended timber floor. So here we don't need to worry about dampness causing the floors to rot. But the ground outside the house is at floor level. So there's a cement screed there, which you can see is pretty much at the level of the kitchen floor, which is just a shade above the living room floor. So round here, the ground is at floor level, so there's no chance of any damp-proof course, if there is one, to prevent any dampness getting into the wall. So it's no point sticking a damp meter in there. It's obviously going to be wet, damp, and here we can see the bottom edge of the skirting board has disintegrated and the carpet's riding up and down, following the contours of a disintegrating skirting board. So the solution to that problem, I suppose, is to break up that cement screed at the back of the house, go down 6 inches, so we should find a damp-proof course and get the ground well below the position of the damp-proof course so that it can start functioning properly again. Here's the roof space. I'm not going in because we've got very deep insulation over the top of rather delicate lath and plaster ceilings, and as I can see quite well from the loft hatch, I shall stay right where I am. There's the roof ridge, rafters nailed on there, no sign of movement there. Massive purlins, no need for a strut, so they're sitting on the party walls, or what there is of a party wall. The front roof slope has been re-roofed, so you've got a, I don't know, mid to late 20th century underlay there, which is in fairly good condition. And the other side's more interesting. If I can turn myself around, excuse me while I manoeuvre. Ow! Right. Oh, fuck. There, the undersides of this roof slope have been, I think it's called torching. So you've got the odd thick timber there, which is a batten, and you can just about see a tile nib in there. And then it's got laths nailed to the top side of the rafters, and the plaster's then been applied from the top side. So whether they did that before they put the tiles on, I'm not sure that's possible. As they put the tiles on, sounds fairly complicated. There's the party wall, and you can see that you can actually clamber through from one house to the other on that side. And this side, they've improved the party wall with all sorts of cobbled together material. The party wall over there is made from some kind of cementitious board. Quite what, and whether it includes asbestos, I can't really tell from here, but it's incomplete, so not very much use. Would have been a double skin if they ever finished the job. And there's the underside of the valley with just a hint of rain penetration. My guess is, though, that the valley's been relined in modern times. A little bit of light getting through there. And it does have just a spot of woodworm. Unconvincing. Where's it gone? Oh, there we go. There's a little bit of frass just above that insulation certificate there. So there's a bit of a woodworm infestation, but not much to get excited about. So a nice strong roof. Arguably, though, it needs a new underlay to the rear side, but maybe not. Here's the electrical system. We've got
3 old fuse boxes and 3 electricity meters. That's a little bit confusing, isn't it? We've obviously got a night storage heater in the house, but why do we need a third one? Not my department, really. So just to finish, a little tour of a house which needs modernisation. So we're in the front room and we've got a night storage heater, no other heating apart from, I suppose, well, contradictions, isn't it? A fireplace with a pile of soot in the bottom of it, so obviously the flue needs sweeping, and you can see the carpet is dotted with little bits of melted fabric where bits of coal have shot out of the fireplace and nearly started a fire. So I think that's a little bit archaic, isn't it, having a fireplace like that in the house now. We've discussed dampness already, I suppose, but there's a bit of crinkly skirting board in there, which indicates that the back of the skirting board started rotting. And if that's rotting, then the floor may well have started rotting too. Here's the hall, and there's all that ancient electrical work over there. And the back room, again, we've got a night storage heater in the corner behind that sort of buggy thing. And a fireplace there, a rotting skirting board at the back. This is what estate agents do, isn't it? Guided tours of houses. And there's the kitchen. Not much to it now, just a sink unit, under which we've got a stop tap. Can you see that? They're quite clever, these cameras. It's really very dark in there. Anyway, there's a stop tap, and it's coming out of what looks like a ferrous metal pipe, so that'll be rusting and giving you a little bit dose of iron into your bloodstream every time you drink some water. Evidently lots of moisture in that wall with the plaster blistering and coming off the wall, and we've got that little extension on the back where the utility room used to be, and the floor's quite wet, the walls are quite wet. Everything's very wet, so an unventilated room and condensation galore dripping off that window. Yeah. Well, what to do with this place then? Needs heating and ventilating. An understair cupboard where you can see a bit of crinkle to that skirting board, which suggests that that's rotting. There we go. It's sort of got a sort of split developing down the middle, so that's got, this wall has some moisture in it too, and causing the skirting to rot. Lots of surface mould, so condensation perhaps a problem in here as well. No central heating in this house, quite clearly. And a functional little bathroom. Nothing wrong in here. All that dirt in the wash hand basin is what fell out of the loft hatch when I had to look up there earlier. Water heating, also just a touch primitive, with this badly insulated hot water cylinder with a single electric immersion heater to it. And an electric fan heater on the wall over there. This is the back bedroom. No heating in here. The window over there is top hung only, so modern regulations require the window to be no more than, I can't remember, something to do with 80 centimetres to 110 centimetres above floor level. This is so that you can climb out to escape fire, but with that up there, you're not going to be able to climb out of that. So that's a consideration, isn't it? How are you going to get out of the house if there's a fire? And of course the fire brigade have to climb in as well. Same problem with that window over there, not that you can see it in this light. There you go, it's top hung. So you'll have a job getting out of there. And bit of mould over there, so obviously a bit of furniture here, and resulting in a bit of condensation developing between the furniture and the wall. It is just a bit of condensation mould, isn't it? I think so. And a lovely textured ceiling finish, which might have a little asbestos in it, and you can see a few crinkly cracks running through it, which is a clue, as if you needed one, that this ceiling is made of lath and plaster. Anyway, there it is. A nice, robust little house waiting for someone to bring it into the 21st century.